What if you could take that risk, make that change, reach that goal, live your best life? Welcome to another episode of the What If You Could podcast, where we get together with amazing experts and everyday people who share challenges, encourage healing, and explore the possibilities that life has to offer. I'm your host, Gary Scott, and I'm excited that you're along for the ride.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the What If You Could podcast. And my amazing, fit, and fabulous and shimmering friend with us is the amazing Sandy Joy Weston. Hello, Sandy Joy.
Should I say fly, eagles fly? I'm so excited.
Oh, 100%. 100%. You go. You go. Hey, with an ass whooping like that over a two-time champion, you could
What
do
the heck?
whatever you want.
I
That
know.
was unbelievable. So, and honestly, I think that your quarterback at Jalen Hurts is just a right-on dude. And I mean, Shaquan, I mean, you've got some
Yeah.
great people over there. So I'm happy. I'm happy for you guys. Even though I'm a
Yeah.
Rams fan, I'm still
Well, I get it, but they weren't in, so you were rooting for Philly. Most people, unless they grew up in Kansas City, were rooting for Philly. So that's cool.
I think the whole country was rooting for Philly. There was like one barbecue shop in Kansas City that was pulling for the
Oh
Chiefs.
my
Everyone else was like,
goodness.
God, please go away. Please go away. So, all right, Sandy Joy, I'm going to read your little intro real quick, and then
Okay.
we're just going to hit the ground running. So, everybody, today we're going to play with Sandy Joy Weston. MED is a keynote speaker, international podcaster, three-time published author, and entrepreneur who has owned and operated health and wellness companies for over 30 years. She started when she was 7. Early in Sandy Joy's career, she became the first female trainer of the Philadelphia Flyers and spent many years as a media personality and as Philadelphia NBC 10's fitness expert. Sandy created the nationally recognized Philly Street Line dance to help combat Philly's fattest city label. All those good Philly cheesesteaks, man. What do you
I
what do you
know.
get? For the past 5 years, Sandy has been focusing on SJW Productions, an international company whose main mission is to highlight all of the positive in the world. Sandy does this through her international podcasts, her books, Train Your Mind and Your Body Will Follow, My 30-Day Reset Journal, and her programs and workshops. Sandy's mission is to spread pure joy and inspire others to see their true power. And all of that is freaking awesome. So welcome, Sandy Joy. Hey, you've got so much to cover. You're so freaking awesome. You're an inspiration to me. I've been a health person my whole life. I had a weird incident recently, but I just have my one opening question, and basically it's my what if you could question. And do you have a what if you could moment or what if you could thought for the gang while we're on the phone here?
I do. And I actually changed it while you were reading my bio. So here it goes. Ready? What if you could tap into pure joy in 1 to 3 minutes a day and shift that of feeling stressed and worried and let the world not bounce you around like a ping pong ball, and that you knew without a doubt you got to decide how you were going to show up in the world? How would that change you? How would it change you if you knew that the universe really had your back and that you were in control more than you realized? Yeah, crap happens. There's yuck out there. There's bad things. But the whole idea is you want to have more pure joy. If you could, I really believe that would be your competitive edge personally and professionally. And I think if you really knew that, what would you do different every single day?
That's awesome. That's
Think about it.
awesome. We
What would
need
you
not
do?
just more pure joy. We need Sandy joy. That's what we need. So now you just made me think of something. So we've got your books. You've got Train Your Head and Your Body Will Follow. And
Mhm.
then you have your 30-day reset journal. So in your 30-day reset journal, I mean, is that part of it where you open it up and in that 30 days you go, okay, today I'm gonna. What if I could? I mean, everything you just said. I'm glad it's recorded because Because it was really good. I mean, is that part of that? Of just getting
I don't
people
know because I
focused?
never know what I'm going to say, Gary. No, okay.
Luckily, you're the human Snapchat. Once it comes out, it's gone.
Oh
We just
my God. No, so recently, okay, so we're going to have to back up. Do you mind if I back up a little bit?
all the way. Take it all the way back.
I
Go
don't know
back
if
all the
you
way you
do
want.
this,
This is
but
this is a Sandy Joy Weston show. Go wherever you want.
okay. Well, I have so many questions to ask you, but that's for another day. But so many times, I think I try to recreate the wheel and make things way more complicated than they are, and I'm guilty of that. Like, okay, did I struggle enough? Did I work hard enough? Did I sacrifice hard enough? And so when I was coming up with my new keynote that I'm going to present, somebody said to me, well, what's your secret sauce? Why were you so successful in your health clubs? What made you so different? And at first I said nothing. Nothing made me so different. But then I realized what it was. And I don't know why I keep trying to make it way more complicated and form pie charts when I'm not even that pie chart type person. It was my ability to tap into joy. So because of my background and how I grew up, I developed these skills using movement, words, and laughter to feel joy instantly and see beyond what was right in front of me. And that's why I was so successful in my businesses, attracted all the right people. And no matter what, I feel joy most times, even when you say, Sandy, what are you joyful about? Nothing and everything. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm not sad, angry, frustrated on any given day. Ask my dog, ask my cats, ask my husband and my son. But I get it out, I move through it quicker, and I don't stay stuck there. So that is my competitive edge. So I wanted to share it with the world, right? I mean, doesn't everybody know about this? You are in charge. You can tap into this universal feeling. So I went, Gary, and studied. I think it was after a year or two of opening one of my first health clubs. And I said, what if I could study people that I felt exuded pure joy? Was there something I could teach people? Did they have a secret sauce? And so since I owned a gym, I could bribe them. I took about 100 people and I said, listen, I'll give you free trainings, a membership to the gym. I want to study you, interview you for over a year to see what sparks your joy. And I took people from all walks of life, every background, every financial income. And at the end of it, I almost was like, oh, crapola, there's nothing. I mean, you're screwed. You either have, that's it. I'm lucky. Sorry, people. No, but that's not true. What happened is the biggest thing is they felt worthy of having a joyful life. So that they already felt like I'm worthy. They liked themselves. They liked who they were, how they showed up, warts and all. So they already had that. But the second thing was the thing I could teach, which gets me back. Yes, I did remember your question about my journals that I've created. At the time, I wanted something to get people into that positive, powerful headset if they didn't already have a routine to get into it. Because all these people, the one thing they had in common, every single day, whether it was a couple minutes or a few hours, they did something to get into that positive, powerful mindset. And it didn't mean journaling necessarily, walking, playing with the dog. It could be baking muffins, playing jazz music, making lists. They had their routine of what got them in to that powerful, positive mindset. And in some way, absolutely, it involved movement, words, and laughter. So in some way, it involved that. So I was like, holy moly, okay, it can be taught. So then I wanted to create, now back then there weren't, I know everyone now's into journaling and positive affirmations, but at the time in 1995, they thought I was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Like I wanted to create this journal that would take people into this positive, powerful mindset. I'm going to change lives, blah, blah, blah. So I gathered what I called the powers to be, my 12 apostles. And it was neuroscientists, sports psychologists, exercise physiologists, gurus, spiritual leaders. And they helped me come up with this journal page that would help you get into this positive, powerful mindset. And I know it took over a year. Then we studied people for another year. And it took 5 minutes. We created this journal page. And it failed flat on its face. Nobody did it. Nobody did 5 minutes a day because nobody was going to do something they didn't already have a belief in that took 5 minutes. And then we recreated it to take 1 to 3 minutes a day. And then they did it. So that's what the books and journals are built on. Yes. So if you have a routine that every single day, without a doubt, gets you off the ground so that you are hitting the ground running, kumbaya, do it. But I was trying to reach all those people that are like, yeah, some days I do it, some days I don't. And hey, I got nothing. You don't know my life. It sucks. Yeah, I get it. Those are the people I tried to reach. There you go. Did I answer your question?
No, it just gave me 97 more questions. So no, it didn't answer my question. But it did give me now from my I had one question to start, now I have 97. So you kind of put together a Think and Grow Rich book for Joy. That was kind of when you were interviewing these people, like,
Yeah.
Oh God, I've only known his name for a million years. I got 10 Think and Grow Rich books. But so you put that together, but then you discovered that there really wasn't.
Napoleon Hill. Go ahead.
Yeah, so yes, thank you. Napoleon Hill. So but so is it a system? I mean, is it like a snap into yourself? I mean, you work with professional athletes, right? I mean, so even though they make a ton of money, I mean, back in the day, hockey players didn't make as much money as other athletes do. They make a lot today, but they didn't back then because of television. But I mean, so when you're watching these professional athletes try to get up for game after game after game after game after game, right, and get their ass
Yeah.
kicked, because hockey's the toughest freaking sport that's out there, pretty much. Did you? I mean, did that help you in any way watching these
Hell
guys?
yeah. I mean, I was surrounded by, well, okay. So here I am. I'm a dance major. That's what my undergrad degree was in. No business background. I grew up in the projects. I spoke broken English. And I mean, I'm not kidding you, because I was good at math and science. So I would barter with people. They would write my papers and I would do their math and science projects. It was good at the time. But here I am as a dance major going to teach classes in aerobics on the main line. And for some reason, the who's who saw something in me that I didn't see in me and started asking me to come train them in their home. And no one was doing that. And from there, they would teach me proper English. Then all these mentors would teach me business because, I had Pat Croce, Ed Snyder, Brian Roberts, all these people that own mega companies. And I was sucking it in. They should have really I should have paid them. And next thing you know, they're like, you should open a health club. And I said, sounds like a great idea. So, there I go on my way to opening up a health club that took 3 years, and the next one and the next one. And crazy as it sounds, here was this young lady that I would have been quite happy, my dream come true, teaching dance in a dance studio, owning her own business and beyond what I ever thought, because I was sucking in and learning from all these people. And then Pat Croce and Ed Snyder working with the Flyers, I could watch what those athletes did and then what the trainers did. And Pat Croce was a big influencer because he was all about I feel great and mindset. And he was the trainer to the Flyers who did a lot for me. And then I'm also was the NBC 10's fitness expert. So I did a lot of segments with a lot of other teams and I studied them. And so many of them had these rituals that they did to get in that mindset. And so what I thought is, hoochie mama, okay, nobody's getting the spiritual end of it. Like, you know what I mean? Like you can't get that. So let's get them in they're all saying the same thing. They're all arguing with each other, the spiritual leaders, the gurus, but the neuroscientists, the exercise, they're all saying the same thing. But if you got them in through sports, now the everyday person's going to listen to you. And the athlete was doing this. The athlete had the self-talk. The athlete had the positive affirmations. The athlete saw the shots going in. So I borrowed from all that to say, okay, I don't want to get the person that's already taken yoga. They're already got that mindset. I want the person who wouldn't take yoga. And how am I going to get to them? So everything became, what is your game plan? How do you set it up? And I borrowed from everything there was from the business people in my life, as well as the athletes.
I mean, so because this is like really awesome. So I mean, we're talking, these are Rocky Balboa Philly gym guys, right? And here comes this chick, and she's going to open up a fitness studio in Philadelphia. I mean, what was that like? You had to be like way a duck out of water, right? I mean, because how many women gym owners were there in Philadelphia back then?
Zero.
Exactly.
But here's the deal. And I'll never forget, Ed Snyder, who was the owner of the Flyers, said to me, Sandy, your pippy skippy attitude, it's going to take a lot of hits. I mean, you're so joyful that no one's going to take you seriously as a business person. But guess what? That's your secret weapon.
Right.
And then I even got to train the Dean of Wharton, and Russ Palmer said the same thing. He goes, you have street skills and people skills like no other. Use your strengths. They're going to always open all the doors for you because they're going to be like, that's Sandy. And so they underestimated me. So I would go in and I'd say, oh yeah, I'm thinking about owning a gym. And I was working at a gym, and they're like, oh, well, you can stay here and work at my gym as long as it's not 5 miles near me. And they're like, she's never going to open a gym. And then I'd open the gym and I'd suck in all the information. So because I didn't get stressed out and overly worried about business, people didn't take me seriously, But again, I'm like, what are you taking from me? Money? I don't have money before. So if I make money, yay me. And if I don't, okay, I'll find something else to do. So I didn't have as much to lose as other people. Also, what is expected of me? I'm a dance major. I got out of the projects by a women of prayer. Anything besides waitressing was a stage up. Waitressing is a good gig, by the way. I loved waitressing.
I did too. 10 years I waited tables. Yeah, I got it.
Matter of fact, I opened my club and my husband's like, you have to stop waitressing now. I'm like, hell no. Tips are great, man.
Good money and walk out with cash. I mean, those are good. Back in the day, that was gravy.
I miss
not so more of these poor guys. So you said you had broken. Where were you from? Where were you born?
So I was from Phillipsburg, New Jersey, which was a nice little.
Oh yeah, they don't speak English in Jersey.
No, they did. No. Don't say that. No. I grew up in Phillipsburg, New Jersey, near, in a nice little town, blue collar town. And my dad worked at Ingersoll Rand, and it was a great job, but I don't know if this is good or bad. It was the only projects in the town. You know what I mean? So I go to school and everybody else, has a little home, and I'm living in the projects.
Yeah. Well, I could see, let's face it, most of the people back then that grew up in the projects were badass. I mean, they grew up and they were not soft like they are now, where they just kind of hang out. And I mean, you came out of the projects back then, you can handle your business, right? I mean, that had to be a nice foundation for you when you had to deal with a lot of the crap you had to while you were doing the stuff you wanted to do.
And my peeps were good. I know it sounds like, okay, so I had like these 5 peeps we hung out. One was a guitarist. One was a prostitute. She made a good living. One was your local pot dealer. One was your rough 'em up. And they were my posse. They protected me. So I moved there when I was 9. And these people, the rock and roll, the drug dealer, the prostitute, whatever.
Oh yeah, that's today's Marvel Adventure Crew. Are you kidding me? That's the guys.
People.
That's a game. Yes.
People. I was like, rough them up top.
All day long. Yeah.
And here's the thing. Even back then, my posse saw something in me and they said, we're counting on you to get out of here. We may not get out of here. They didn't let me drink. They didn't let me smoke. I didn't do drugs. I didn't even say SHIT. I mean, they were counting on me.
Wow.
Even my brother, he made a living.
Yeah.
He put
Was
food on the table.
at least one of them named Joey? At least one of the guys named Joey?
There was
No,
no
Joey's a Petey? No, a
no Petey,
Mikey?
no Joey. No.
Well, but you obviously were born with this seed. You were born with this little acorn, you know what I mean? You had
Mm.
that nugget, right? And it just was always in you, and people saw it, and but you were able to grow it. You know what I mean? I mean, there's a lot of people that have that and just blow it. They just quit, or they get beat up, or they just don't have it. But through your joy and through your enthusiasm and through your thirst for knowledge and learning and trying things, you did it. That's freaking awesome.
I always say, and I give myself credit, so thank you. But there before the grace of God, one turned different. That posse, this people, this person in that life, I'm beyond grateful. I don't feel like it's all luck. I do believe it's preparation, crossroads of luck. And I give myself a lot of credit for staying on course. But you're right. I always felt, well, first of all, I had two roads to take, because the one road, which I didn't tell you, there was a double whammy on me because my mom spent most of her life in mental institutions. So it was so bad that not only did I live in the projects, but most of the relatives didn't want to have anything to do with us because my mom was so bad off, and all the money went to medicine and, trying to keep her above board. So either it was going to get really ugly or I had to go the other direction. And I knew innately that there was something out there. I didn't know what it was, this unconditional being universe that loved me. And there was nothing you could do to stop that love. Now imagine if you feel that. I'm like, yeah, if I had a boyfriend, I didn't have a boyfriend, you're going to break with me. I don't care. I got Neil. That's who I call God. I'm loved. I'm good. I mean, I would get sad, but it wasn't like everybody else. So I had that. And then because at the age of 9, I was going to visit my mom in the mental institutions with my brother who's older, but it affected him more than me. I was like, oh, we're effed up here. This is a really bad place. These people, some of them belong here, but some of them don't. They're just poor, misunderstood. What are we going to do? My brother's freaking out. I'll tap dance. So and I saw that even in the blackest of situations, the darkest of situations, the worst of times, these people drugged out of them, I could still shift their energy. And I saw that instantly. And I knew this is my mission. Now, I didn't know how. And I didn't call it movement, words, and laughter. I mean, I didn't know that till about last year. I'm a slow learner. But I just knew, oh, look what I can do when I tap dance. They're smiling. There's hope. Maybe only one person's getting out of here, but that's.
How old were you when you were doing this?
I started at 9.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, your body's had some wear and tear. That's been a lot of fun. So I mean, that's you got the gang. You've got your core people, right? They love you. They're taking care of you. You've got each
Yeah.
other's back. You probably
Yep.
fought like hell between each other, but do not mess with any of us, or
Don't
we'll
mess
all
with.
kill you,
Don't mess
right?
with us. Yeah.
We can mess with each other, but you cannot mess with us, type of thing. And
Mm.
then, your mom, I mean, I remember the first time we put my mom in a crazy farm. She tried to eat, I don't know how many pills. And we're like, Mom's not waking up. Put her in the crazy farm. So, I mean, back then, and this is the 70s, the crazy farms were not really
No.
pretty places, right? They were like
Ooh.
Nurse Ratched's one through of the cuckoo nest places, right?
Shock treatments. Yeah.
Right? So you go visit mom in one of these places, you're like, holy shit, I'm tap dancing out of here too.
Yeah.
So I mean, but mentally, it's it can really mess with your brain when you see that stuff when you're young like that.
Yeah. And I'm sure it did. And maybe I'm still in denial. I don't know. And it's not like I don't think it has, but I swear to you, Gary, I remember, oh my God, I just thought of this. So they always bring my brother and I in when my mom would go to all her therapy and counseling appointments, how your kids doing, blah, 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 whatever. And I don't know how old I was. And there was this guy with his little rimmed glasses and he's looking at me and he's like, how you doing? And I don't know. I start talking to him. I go, I'm fine. How are you? Tell me about your day. You must have a tough day. I remember thinking, all these clients coming in here, most of them you can't help. They're poor. You're just drugging them to get by. And he looks at me, goes, I think you're going to be okay. Get out of my office. You don't need me. I go, okay, I'm good.
That's
And
awesome.
so even when therapists or counselors or ministers would come to the house and they'd be worried about me, I'm like, don't worry about me. It's her we're worried about. I mean, that's a horrible life. I'm good. And they say, she's good. So even when the police would come to the house and say, Sandy, can you quiet your mom down? I should say, take me, just take me any home. I'm a good kid. Get me out of here. And they're like, no, we need you to keep the peace in the home. It's my only regret. I wish they would have, but anyhow. But the point
Did your mom, is she still around? Did she live to see your success?
She lived to see me pregnant with my son. And
Not bad.
she saw my success, but I don't know if she got it. My dad got it. Like, because I called the gym's Weston Fitness, and that's our last name. So he got it. And I'm sure my mom would have been happy, but she'd go in and out of, jealousy to happy to, you know what I mean? Because when you're have so many mental health issues,
Yeah.
I'm not saying she didn't love me in her way, but her capacity to love, it's difficult because she doesn't know how to get attention. And so then she does all the wrong things. And then if your life is amazing, it's hard for them to understand why their life sucks. So I have this big, big heart and empathy for anyone with any mental health issue because it's not an easy path. And as much as it was really difficult for me, honestly, when she passed away, I know a lot of people didn't get her because I was very private. No one knew my life until a few years ago. I was standing when I had to go do my little thing about her, and I went, "Woo! This is the best day ever," because she wasn't suffering anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, I go, yeah, besides of what, the raft she spread around to you people, come on. And I looked at all the people that were believed in after. I'm like, come on, think about it. I mean, start a new life, go on, circle around, come in something else because hopefully she served her purpose.
Yeah.
Because, and I always did, as much as I would get mad or disappointed, I didn't have that hatred. Like I felt bad, even such a young age. Like that must be sad.
Yeah. And it's when you're young like that and you're trying to process all these different feelings and emotions, like watching my mom constantly just do stupid crap, I'm like, it just seems bizarre to me because I kind of like playing kick the can and I kind of like being a kid. I like life. Why doesn't she? And what's
Yeah.
going on in that noggin that's so twisted, And then once she got a little bit older and I looked back at her history and her childhood, I'm like, oh shit, no wonder that poor thing. I don't know how she made it this long. And
Yeah.
there's just like a cycle, like her grandfather came from Germany in the 1920s to get out of Hitler because he was a German Jew. So he's running, he comes, gets married. It's just a whole crazy story, right? I keep telling her she's got to write a book. I bought her cassettes. I go, just talk. All you got to do is talk, Mom. Press the red button and start talking. But just the pain of it just doesn't end. At some place, you got to break the cycle, right?
Yeah.
You've got to break the cycle. And what you're doing with, you just found this joy. And like you said, it's just like, you know what? I'm just going to be happy, even if I'm not. I don't give a shit. I'm going to find a way to
Yep.
find the joy. And I think the best way that you're doing it is the way I always try to tell people. It's like, listen, when you feel really shitty, go make someone feel really good. And
Absolutely.
then from their joy, you're going to feel good. It's going to get you out of
Absolutely.
your skank.
Yep.
you're doing that on a big scale, on a big basis, and that's awesome.
My son was saying the other day, he goes, Mom, I know he's 21, he goes to Tyler Art, and he goes, Mom, I know you do your movement, words, and laughter, and your journaling when you're anxious and worried and all that. But is there anything else that you do? Like if you're really worried, like I know, because, you could worry about me or dad, whatever. And I say, yeah, besides all that, I try to make everyone smile. Like I'll go make somebody smile. If I'm feeling anxious or worried, get off my stuff. I'll text someone and said, hey, did I tell you I love you today? I was thinking about you, or I'll be really friendly at somebody in the grocery store. I'll or wave to them. Just to put us, because I said, you don't know the power of that little smile that you could affect someone. And I think it's a bigger part.
Yeah, the craziest thing in the world happened to me when I think I was like 17 years old. I went with my buddy. His family was from Long Island. So we went to Long Island and we went to Port Jefferson and ate and then had just the best time. But he wouldn't go on the subways. He was scared of the subways. I'm like, I'm not scared of the subways. I'm going on the subways because I want to go into the city. I want to see New York City. I'm not going to come to New York and not go to New York City. So I went to New York City by myself at like 17 years old. Everyone said we'll never see him again. They almost didn't. But I'm sitting on a subway, and I'll never forget this to the day I die. This black dude walks in, and he's got the beat up army jacket like freaking Rambo and beat up boots and just mangy, right? I'm not seeing a lot of this in Palm Springs, California, right? So I'm like, I don't know. He's sitting across from me, and I go, I don't know. Do I make eye contact? Because I'm a jovial guy even back then, right? And he gets my attention, like, hey, and he says to me, and I could be off a little bit, but this is what he said. He goes, it takes 17 muscles to smile and 34 muscles to frown. So why don't you save yourself some energy and smile? I was like, I got goosebumps now thinking about it. I was like, dude, that is so freaking awesome. Here I am thinking you're
Wow.
going to reach across and kill me just for shits and giggles. And then you lay that on me?
Mm.
I'll never forget it. It's like 17 muscles to smile and 34 muscles to frown. So save yourself some energy and smile. I was like, dude,
Did you
that stuck
smile?
with me forever. Oh, hell, we started laughing our ass off. And he said, where are you from? And we hit it off. We had the best time. And then he goes, oh, by the way, you probably better get off if you want to get in the city or you're going to end up in Philadelphia or wherever. But I'll never forget that. And from that day on, I said, I didn't
Wow.
really judge people anyways, but from that day on, I said, you know what? Never, ever, ever, ever judge a book by its cover. Never judge
Mm.
anybody. You don't know what they're going through. You don't know their life. You don't know what's
Yep.
going on. So just freaking be kind to everybody and
Yep.
and err on the side of just being kind. It's easier.
So much easier. And I love the fact that look at all these years later. You have no idea. You say things and you're like, eh. And then somebody goes, I remember.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that stuck with me forever. I mean, just forever I thought about that. And had there been Google back then, I probably would have Googled said, is he right? Is it 17 months? But I didn't. So how do you still do the fitness stuff? Are you still doing that? Or are we moving more on to speakers and podcasts and writing and stuff like that? Where are you going next? Where's Sandy Joy with all your next stuff?
So, as the gods were with me again, in 2019, I sold the clubs and was an offer. And they were after us for a while. And finally we sold in 2019. And I went kicking and screaming because the club downtown had, I guess, like 2.5 more years on it. I had a 20-year lease. So what happened is a new landlord came in, and here I am, 19th and Market, second floor, huge, massive windows, about, I don't know, 28,000 square feet, right in the heart of it. And we had signed a lease that was for like $7.50 a square foot because
Wow.
the people thought I was an amenity to the building, the landlord. And the new landlord came in and went, what? What? And then the bank below us moved out and they're trying to get somebody else in. And so here we are, you can hear our weights drop. Now the bank didn't care because of what, 9 to 5, they didn't care about the weights and whatever. But now the new landlord is trying to lease that down to their space. So they wanted to get rid of us in the worst way. So finally, after a year or so, the price was right. And I'm like, okay, well, we only have 2.5 more years on our lease, my partner and I thought, and they're not going to renew the lease.
Yeah.
Right. And at this point, I had already sold the other 2 health clubs. So I sold that. And then my partner bought the other business too. And I was like, oh my God, I would have been destroyed in 2020 because my business was like 80% corporate. And during COVID, I would have been out of business.
Wow. Wow.
Right?
You would have
So,
been locked down and hasta luego.
yeah,
Wow. What a
it would have
gift.
been, and nobody's buying anything from me. So what I did then is I decided I had always done speaking engagements. I had traveled all over the world doing speaking engagements because I already had written all my books and I already had what was called the radio show. So I've been podcasting for like 17 years, so long. And what I did is I took the side gig and then made it my main gig. And then because I wasn't able to travel because of COVID, right when it started opening up, I took a year course with Heroic Public Speaking to up my speaking abilities so that I could get on bigger stages.
Wait.
And
When did you never, when did you not have speaking abilities? You
okay,
came out of the womb with speaking abilities. I can't
well,
even.
okay, so that's true, and I'm great on stage, but I wanted to,
Did you want to polish it so that you can get corporate gigs and
well, I
more?
wanted to get on. I love seeking knowledge and I love learning, and I never had taken any kind of speaking course, and I thought it'll be great for me to, I don't know what I don't know, and it was one of the best courses I've ever done in my life. First of all, they had 45 to 50 people coming from all over the world that they take in. Some of it's online, some of it's there, and it happened to be an hour away from me in Lambertville, New Jersey. Those people are like some of the greatest people in the world. So many from California were there. That's one of the best parts. But I also crafted for the first time a keynote that was not just about well-being and fitness and mindset, but also was about my life, my story, in ways that still I could tell and not depress people. Like it was crafted in a way I could tell about living in the projects, tap dancing, in a way that you could take people on a journey. And now I could even impact more people. And I never, ever told my story. People just assumed I came from wealthy, happy people. So now they wanted me to do it. Well, no way. So it was almost like, cathartic. Like I had to write these stories and tell my dog, and I'd be like, then I write them and write them and write them. So more importantly, I learned how to craft these stories for the first time about my life, and now reach even bigger audiences because of my journey. Because I never talked about my journey ever, but in a way that served the audience, because you have to be on the other side of it. And I don't think I could have done it until now. And on top of that, the people that own it, Amy and Michael Port, are brilliant at stage presence. So where to step, where to stand, when to move, when not to move, and make it natural. And because of that, I was able to get a TEDx right after that. And I knew how to work the audience and do it, So, oh my God. I still would take speaking courses, because even though you might have a gift, the craft of getting on a big stage and empowering a room, it's not easy.
You're yeah, and let's face it, I mean, everybody knows that 99% of the world would rather be hit by a train than do public speaking. I mean, public speaking, I don't know, I love it myself, but I know that 99% of the world would just rather freaking die than do public speaking. They're just scared to death of it. We talked about your mom, we touched on your dad a little bit, but I mean, you are, I don't know where it came from, but you are just a learner, a life lifelong learner. I mean, I love that about you. It's just like you're always, pushing yourself. I'm going to learn more. I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to get that figured out. I'm going to tap dance through this one. I'm going to tap dance through that one. I mean, you've always been kind of that thirst for knowledge, right? Is that what I'm picking up? That's pretty awesome.
I don't want to get bored, I don't want to get bored. And I feel like the more you seek, and you know this, as you get older, the more you realize you're just scratching the surface of how much you know. As much as I think, okay, I know a lot about fitness, I'm like just scratching the surface. The more I learn, I love neuroscience, I love understanding the brain. I'm just scratching the surface. And I never was that kid that just got A's. I studied for hours to get those grades. So I was already used to studying. Like I wasn't that person. Like, yeah, I got good grades, but if I didn't study and study and study and study, I wasn't getting it. Like when I was in college, if I worked a lot, my grades sucked. If I didn't work a lot, my grades were better. So when I went to get my master's, oh God, thank God there wasn't really the internet back then. When I went to get my master's at Temple, it wasn't like your transcripts were just sent to them.
Hmm.
So I didn't send them my transcripts. And you're allowed to take 9 credits without matriculating in, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I took them, and then somehow I got lost in the system. And next thing you know, I'm about to graduate. I'm 3 credits short, and I never matriculated into my major.
Mm.
And my counselor calls me and goes, "What the hell?" Like somehow I go, "Well, I never would have got in. I never would have got in." And he's like, "Oh God, Sandy." He was like, "Dr. Kendrick, he always saved my ass." And so he's like, "Okay, this is what you have to do. You are not allowed then to have a C if we're going to matriculate you in now. So you have to retake that course." I'm like, "That course, cardiovascular something, physiology, is $785. And he goes, "I'm sorry, you have to do that, or we can't graduate you. You can't matriculate in. You're not, you don't have a major. You're not in the exercise physiology department." So that's what I did. I took the course again, got a B, and then I graduated. Yay.
So that wasn't luck. That was work. I mean, you put in the work. I mean, I remember when I went to my high school graduation practice, and I don't mind saying this. I don't know if it's ever been on a podcast, but I went to my high school graduation practice where you practice marching and who gets a thing, and then the next day you graduate, right? So I'm at practice, and we had this little old principal guy. I used to remember naming it. I just can't remember. It'll come. But anyway, so she comes up and she goes, "Gary Scott." I said, "Yes, ma'am." "What are you doing here?" I said, "Oh, well, I'm practicing." She goes, "You ain't graduating." I said, "Excuse me?" She goes, "You ain't, no, you ain't graduating." I said, "Well, I've been here for 4 years. I think this is when I graduate." And she's like, "Uh-uh." And I go, "Well, I don't understand. Why am I not graduating?" I got an incomplete in 10th grade English. Grant Uptain. Grant Uptain, if you're still alive and out there, you gave me an incomplete. So I didn't have a counselor. I didn't have anybody who would say to me, "Oh, by the way, you better take summer school and make this up or you're not going to graduate." And my parents had no clue. They didn't even know I didn't graduate. They never even asked me like, "Hey, weren't you supposed to graduate this year?"
Oh
They
God.
didn't they didn't even
So what happened?
notice. So I didn't graduate. So the next night I show up, I'm sitting in the stands, I sneak in a 6-pack of beer and a bong, and I'm just sitting in the
Oh my
the
God.
stands cheering on my class who are graduating because I didn't. And no one ever, I mean, it was like 10th grade English. So you think I had 11th grade, 12th grade. Someone could have come up and said, "Oh, by the way, I never had a counselor." So you had someone who helped you, but you still did the work.
Okay, let's
Right.
back up a second. Hold on. I can't help myself. So, first of all, that's so bizarre because it really was their fault. If you had an incomplete in English and it
Grant
was
Uptain. Grant Uptain.
in 10th grade
Yeah.
and you weren't aware of it, it's different if they made you aware of it, but you weren't. So, wait a minute. Did you take it that summer and then graduate?
No,
You
no, I just
never
said
graduated.
no. And so when I went to try to apply for college, because I wanted to be a
Shut
theater,
the front door. No, 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 no.
I was
Wait.
going to be a theater major. So I went down to San Diego and I went to Mesa College. And on the application, it says, "Did you graduate high school?" And I said, "Yes."
Okay.
Well, I was there for 4 years. No one asked me for a diploma. No one asked me for anything. So I
See?
went and I paid my $37.50 per unit or whatever it is. And I waited tables at night and I went to school during the day for about 3 months. And then I realized, well, they're going to put on productions on Fridays and Saturday nights. I can't be in a production on Friday, Saturday nights. That's my busiest night of the week to make money. So I left college.
After 3 months.
Yeah, yeah, because
Okay.
I couldn't do the performances because I needed to work Friday and Saturday night, or
I
I wouldn't
get you.
wouldn't
I
be able
hear
to
you.
live. Right? I was waiting tables, and so
So then what?
and then well, and I ended up getting married to an amazing gal. We were married for 28 years. I've been a real estate broker for 35 years. My son and I own our own real estate company, and the rest is history.
So you
But
went into real estate.
yeah, so I've been this is my real job. I just do this because I love people like you. But
Okay.
but so when after I was married for a while, now my wife has since passed. She passed 10 years ago from cancer, but um one day we were moving like for the 19th time because I'm a realtor and we buy houses and move. Um
Okay.
she came across her diploma. And she says, "Oh my God, I haven't seen this high school diploma for so long. Maybe I'll put it out and the kids can see it and stuff like that." And she goes, "Where's yours?" I send it burned in a horrible fire. There was a kiln
No, you didn't.
incident.
You told her. You told her.
Eventually, I told her, but initially, I said, "I, I don't know where that."
Oh my God.
But of course, I
The
told her she was
dumbest
my best friend.
reason.
When we got together, she was 18. She had just gotten out of high school, and I was 20, 21. I think I was 21. She was 18. Yeah, we were together to the day she died in my arms in the hospital.
Oh.
But no, she was my best friend. But yeah. So, but you know what? You just don't stop trying to do stuff. I mean, you just don't. And that's what we're doing. So I can't let you go because you've been so gracious with time without asking. I want to know about Sandy's mission is to spread pure joy and inspire others to see their true power. How are you doing that? What are we doing to do that?
Well, first of all, I think the most important thing is that I live my life like that. That's how I show up. That I do the work within. I spend the time within myself really every single day. I go out my porch, I do my little movement, words and laughter. I don't care what the weather, how cold it is. I do my journaling. It doesn't take long, but every single day I spend time connecting to myself and being honest with where I am, how I'm feeling, and how can I show up for others. That's the most important thing. Because if your mission, whatever it is, spread love, kindness, joy, it has to exude from you. It's having a mission, having a purpose, having a drive. It even if I tell people, even if I don't care what you want to do in life, you might say, listen, I want to show up, and I know my main thing is just to be kind, compassionate, a great listener. My mission was to spread joy. The vehicle changed. I didn't know dancing brought me joy. I danced my entire life. My uncle got me to my dance classes. I didn't know how I was going to do it beyond that. But because people saw that within me, it attracted the right people. And so everything that fell in place, I always say I have perfect timing, even though I can't see it, is because every single day I wake up, I tune into myself. I don't always say, oh, I'm going to show up today with pure joy because maybe, I'm feeling anxious or worried about something. So then I might say, I want to show up with ease and flow, peace. I do a check where I am, and then I go a step above. And then I focus in on that word all day long. Am I coming from love? Am I coming from power? And by doing that every day, I feel as if I'm living the life that I want to help others see they have the power within them. Like every single person, whatever they want to do. I don't believe in, I know people say, well, what's your system? What's your technique? I just want to, I cringe because I just want to guide. I know, because I don't want them being like, you have it, and use different books and research and find a method that works for you. You know, it's like saying, what's the best workout, Sandy, for that, for my, whatever workout you're going to do, you know what I mean? Yeah, you want to do some cardio and you want to do some weight training, but it's not like this is the workout. It's what are you going to do? What do you enjoy? And I can tell you, after years and years and years of seeing what works and doesn't, if you don't love it, you're not staying with it. You're just not. And I don't care if it's 10 minutes a day, but the point is, that's what I do. I make sure that every single day I tap into my peace, love, and joy so that I can show up for others with that. And then right now, my vehicle changes, but right now, my vehicle is by doing and meeting more people by doing keynote speaking engagements around the world, because I love traveling, teaching workshops. I have a handful of clients I take on, usually no more than 5, and hosting podcasts. But you never know what's going to come up. I'm already working on another job. Like, I'm open, because my mission is spread joy. How am I going to do it? Well, I love people. I freaking love human beings. I was just quoting somebody to Abe Lincoln. Was it Abe Lincoln? Yeah. And someone said, that's whacked. And I said, no, I love it. He said, I don't like that man. I got to get to know him. And that's how I feel. Yeah. I feel that I may not want to have a glass of wine with you, but I want to know how you work. And maybe I don't want to, fly around in the saucer you're flying, and if you're coming from a lot of hatred, whatever. But I do innately love human beings. And I feel as if I have a gift to pull out the love, peace, and joy in them where nobody else can see it. Even when you say that person sucks wad, how are you friends with them, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I don't know. There's something about them. And I think that's my gift. I hope that answered your question.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, everything you say leads me to more questions, but we just don't have unlimited time. But how are you on stage? How are you as a speaker? You have fun up there? I mean, your energy must just suck people in. They just must be leaning in their seats when you're up there speaking. Is your topic fitness, or is your topic joy, or it depends on who you're talking to?
So it's always going to come from joy. And then depending on the group, it has subheadings. But right now, my biggest thing that I'm doing is joy is your competitive edge. And then depending on the group, it's going to be more about ditch the stress, spark the genius, live full out type message. But the keynote that I worked on with Heroic Public Speaking Group is life doesn't happen to you. You happen to life. And you get to decide every single day how you're going to show up. And then I teach techniques that only take 1 to 3 minutes a day. But then depending on the group, it's going to have a different angle. Like if you're in a women's group, it's going to be different than a bunch of accountants or a corporate setting, Mm-hmm. I don't speak anymore. I used to speak a lot on fitness. That's not my thing. I'm more about the mental fitness of it. But of course, you have to have the physical in there. Yeah. But it's more about how do you take even just 1 to 3 minutes to get into that powerful mindset? And how do you become aware, which is most important? How are you honest with yourself about the negative chatter going on in your head? Because you can't just be like, oh, I'm so happy, and let's push those mother effing feelings down, because that doesn't work. I'm not about that. I'm about, let's be real. Yeah. Do you really believe you're a great speaker? Do you really believe you're worthy of money? Do you really believe you're going to meet someone? No, you don't. You're freaking lying, because if you did, you'd have it. So everybody, like you, okay, so I know we got to get this in. Let's just say there's 3 areas of your life, right? There's body health, then there's money, career, and love relationships. At some point, either all three or one of them is going to be your sticky wicket. You know what I mean? There's something that, like, because everyone does. Everyone has their area that they want to take up a notch or that sucks wad, right?
Yeah.
So in order for you to take it up a notch and really be honest about yourself, because those other areas are going, you know, really great, you have to know, well, what's the chatter going on in right now? And whether you want to tell a therapist, a counselor, a friend, or write it in your journal, you have to be really honest and go, holy shit, do I think I'm too old to do that? Oh my God, was that stirring around in my head? Do you know what I mean? Like, blah, 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 that. And then you start to get on the other side of it. And then by doing that, you can start the talk to start serving you well and really, really move forward with where you want to go. So in every one of my speaking engagements, workshops, it's going to be about that. And well, I was going to say almost, no, every single speaking engagement, not workshop, you will create your own celebration dance. No one has ever not gotten up. And by causing it a celebration dance, right?
Yeah.
Football players do at the end. Somewhere in there, you're going to create your celebration dance. And I tell people, okay, let's imagine that the greatest thing just happened to you that you couldn't believe happened. What would you do if no one was looking? Well, you would think that, okay, the stage would be filled with women because I break them off. They do their own little thing. I can't get the men off the stage. And we're not talking like dance club dancing. We're
Yeah.
talking just a celebration dance. But all of a sudden, so my speaking engagements are very interactive, and people are like, "Oh, these people aren't going to do it." I'm like, they're just dying to do something. So somewhere in it, I'm known for, okay, you're going to break out. But by the way, how powerful are words? If I said dance party, men would be like, oh, I'm gonna do blah, 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 blah. You say celebration dance, like, you know, some of the famous football players, Jerry Rice, blah, blah. Oh, yeah, now it's cool. You know, you put the music on, and then I show them and go, look, some of you were piss ants when you came in here. Quickly, in 30 seconds, look how your energy shifted because you're laughing and smiling and moving. And it could be calisthenics. And I love, by the way, words may be jumbled with my family, my friends. Cameras come on, stage comes on, and all of a sudden I'm like, okay, I'm at home. I'm better on stage than off. Put a camera on me, and all of a sudden I'm like, I'm not bumbling my words as much as my husband and son are always saying, we thought we understood you, but we lost you. I have no idea what you're saying. I mean, I'm not kidding you. It's like 50% of my life. No one can figure out how I do what I do. I go, I don't know. Somebody takes over my body. I'm not kidding you. And I make up words, and words don't make sense. So,
Oh, I love it. I freaking love it. And you know the truth of the matter is, and that's why I love having my grandkids now because, you know, I tell people all the time, I say, you know what your challenge is? You just stop being silly. I don't know why you stopped being silly. I know at some point in your life you were silly. And you got to start being silly again because, I mean, I laugh all day long. I mean, and I just, long story short, but I was in the hospital for the last 4 days. I just got out yesterday, but I was
just throw that in at the end.
it doesn't really matter, but I
Oh,
just
okay.
my job was to cheer up everyone in there because
Of course.
it's so freaking hard working in a hospital, right? I mean, how brutal is that? Just dealing with sick people who are in a bad mood all freaking day, right? So I'm like, my mission was to make everyone who came in there, regardless of what they were doing, leave with a smile on their face because I was going to be silly and have fun with them. And I just think people stop being silly. And what you do is you allow people, and I'm sure you get that big old boy who just got this big belly and he's doing the touchdown celebration dance up there. And
Have
he's
a good
being
old time.
silly,
I gave him
right?
permission. I gave him permission to do it. When a
Yeah, you
speaker
give
to do it.
permission to be silly, and we don't get permission to be silly in this world, because like we didn't even get to touch on all the negativity in the world. I mean, it's just like, holy crap! I mean, you're trying to bring joy to a world that is like the most freaking negative that it's ever been in the history of mankind. The Aztecs, chopping off heads and rolling them down temples was more fun than what just goes on social media and in the world today. It's like, what the hell is going on out there? What the hell is? I think it was a Philadelphia Phillies coach actually who said, "What the hell is?" Or maybe it was, no, I think it was actually George Hallis or Vince Lombardi. Anyways, well, you've been amazing. This has been just amazingly fun. I just adore you to death. So I lied when we first started talking. I lied. I can confess now. I told you I had one question, and that was the "what if you could" question, and I
Yeah,
asked you that.
you did.
But
Yes,
I
me and
always,
a lot of other ones too.
I always have two questions. I just don't give you the second question. So my second question is, before we leave, I always ask my guests if there was one thing that meant something to Sandy Joy Weston, if there was a thought, a saying, you saw on the bathroom wall, or just something that you want to leave us all with. I mean, what would be that one thought for the gang that means
Uh,
something to you?
you have to understand, I am like a walking Hallmark card. I'm like the cheesiest of cheesies. So, but this is coming from my heart.
I
I,
love it. I got cheesy. I got sayings everywhere. I love
I'm like the
bring the
cheesiest
cheese.
of,
Well,
I'm
you're
like,
from Philly. You got to bring the cheese. So what? I'm sorry.
okay. So I truly believe that every single person has a purpose here on earth. As small as it might be, I don't care what it is, and that you're way more powerful than you realize. And it's not in a book, it's not in a workshop, it's not in a podcast. When you take time just to tap into whatever way into your heart, you'll be surprised at what you're able to accomplish in the world. I don't care who you are, where you are. One of the most powerful encounters I ever had in my life, I still get chills, was a woman who was handing me a towel to dry my hands in the bathroom. And she was one of the most joyful humans I've ever met in my life. And I was like, that's what I'm talking about. No matter what you do in life, I don't care what your aspirations are. You don't have to, like, you can say, listen, I love my job. I love my family, like this one. I don't care what it is. You're way more powerful than you think. Way more. And to make a difference, like when you're saying all the yuck in the world, I get it. But what are you going to tune into? I know it's there. People go, oh, see, you have rose color glasses on. Oh, that was a funny story. I never told you. Julie Serving, I'll never forget Dr. Dick telling me about rose-colored glasses. But I know it's out there. I'm just not tuning into it every day. And therefore, my encounters are filled with more peace, love, and joy and fun because I'm tuning in. I have an abundant mindset. I'm not saying I don't have yuck days, but they're not in the majority. And I'm not saying I don't know, but there's a lot of it that's not in my control. But what's in my control is my mindset. I know that wasn't one thing. So I'm going to live with you. One saying, let's sum it up. Let's do a rework. Ready? You are way more powerful than you realize.
I liked the first version. The second version's good too, but we are way more out. But you know what? Like you said from the very beginning, gosh, I'd love to do this again one day, but it's a choice.
Yeah.
Period. Period. End of exclamation point. I mean, I chose to make everyone who walked in that hospital room leave with a smile on their face. I
Yeah.
could have just been like, woe is me, but I'm not gonna. I mean, and it's not just about me, it's about everybody. It's a choice. You choose, there's a million different things you could choose to be. You might as well choose to frickin' be kind because it doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't take anything from you. It doesn't steal anything from you. It doesn't rob you of anything. If anything, it enriches you and gives it back to you. Every time you see someone without a smile, give them yours. And you will change lives that way. Like that guy that I still remember from
Yeah.
40 years ago, 50,
Yeah.
45 years ago, when I thought he was a psycho killer and he was going to stab me. He turned out to give me one of the most beautiful sayings I've ever heard in my life on a subway in frickin' New York in the 1970s.
Yeah.
So
That's amazing. By the way, I used to tell people, I'm kind of selfish. I like to feel good. And when you have
yes,
something else, you feel good.
yeah.
And I like feeling joy. So, it's not like I'm so altruistic. I like feeling good.
Yeah, I tell that to my wife all the time. I said, she goes, God, you're so giving and you're so this and that. I go, no, I'm not. I'm the most selfish person on the planet. I do this because it makes me feel good. I don't know what their response is going to be. I don't know if they're going to be receptive to what I give. It doesn't matter to me. I'm going to give it regardless because it makes me feel good,
Yep.
right? They could do whatever they want with it. I don't care. If it makes them feel good, win-win. If they look at me and go, what an ass, how dare you talk to me? I don't care. I felt good doing it, right? And when I get
Yeah.
that type of response, it just makes me laugh even harder. And it just makes my
Absolutely.
day even more. So,
Absolutely.
right? It's
Yeah.
like, I've chosen to do this. You decide what you want to do with it. It's
Right.
like the saying I love to say all the time, if you hand someone a present and they don't accept it, who's holding the present? If you hand someone anger or hate or whatever and they don't accept it, you're still holding on to that hate and that anger because they chose not to accept it. And it goes the same way with happiness, right?
Absolutely. I mean,
You
I can't tell you how many times I wave at somebody, they'll go, do I know you? And I go, not yet.
But you will, and you'll love me.
You're
You
gonna
will
learn
love me.
too much. Don't worry. I'll grow on you. You'll learn to
Too
love.
much fun. Yeah, I'll grow on you. This is gosh, too much freaking fun. All right, everybody. You have just had the pleasure of spending time with Sandy Joe Weston. You've got to get out there. You've got to get her book, Train Your Head and Your Body Will Follow. You got to grab her journal, my 30-day reset journal. We're going to have all the links to all her stuff. I mean, you're on Facebook and all the stuff, right? What are you under Facebook? Because I have to friend you.
Everything is Sandy Joy Weston.
Sandy Joy Weston. Okay, so we're going to put all those links to everything, to your books, to your website, to all the stuff on the bottom of the podcast. But Sandy's mission is to spread pure joy and inspire others to see their true power. And you have certainly done that today, my friend. It's been way more of a pleasure. This has been fun.
I'm so glad, Gary. You're so easy. Like, this is fun, This is fun.
Easy's good.
Easy peasy.
Good. Why make stuff difficult? Why do make stuff
Well,
difficult?
I don't even know if they make it difficult, but you can see you're very relaxed doing it. So you make your guests relax and you bring out the best of them. So that good for you.
Well, thank you, my friend. So this has been great. Thanks, everybody. This is another episode of the What If You Could podcast with my amazing new friend, Sandy Joy Weston. And thank you for listening. This has been a lot of fun, Sandy. Thank you so much. See you
Toodles.
guys. Bye.
Thanks again for joining us on another episode of What If You Could podcast. Please subscribe, like, share, and give us any feedback. We'd love to hear it. And remember, if you can dream it, you can do it. See you next time.